Hi guys, my name's Danny. For those of you who don't know me, I'm one of the trainers here at the Circle Spa. So we're going to put together a little video series of just a few movements, demonstrations, explanations, that kind of stuff, to help those of you working out at home, just to make sure that you're moving efficiently and safely. So in this video we're going to be going over a squat, but we're also going to do a video on a lunge and a press up. So the reason I've chosen these three movements is because whatever kind of program you're doing at home, whether it be from something you know and that you're doing, something that someone set you, or if you're following some kind of YouTube channel, whatever it might be, those three movements are going to come up, and what you're going to learn from them in these videos is going to apply to most other movements you can do at home, because we find ourselves quite limited without equipment and without the use of a gym, to pretty much just doing standard things like squats, lunges and all the different variations that come with it, as well as prone things like press up variations, mountain climbers, etc, etc. So what you're going to learn from watching these three videos is how to move efficiently and safely in those positions. Now, why is this important? Well, there's a few reasons for it. I mean, yes, moving efficiently is going to give you more out of the movement. It's going to keep you nice and safe and make sure any pre-existing niggles don't flare up or anything. But also it's about building good habits. Okay? When we're moving, our body's very, very good at adapting. When we do a movement, they say it's about 300 repetitions of a movement to build sort of muscle memory for that, so that you don't have to think about it and your body will naturally do that. So the problem is, if you do it wrong, you've got about 3,000 to 5,000 repetitions of that movement to undo what you've done and start again. So we want to get it right the first time. Okay, so let's have a look at a squat. So I'll just demonstrate a couple of repetitions of a squat for you guys. Okay. And if you take a look from the side view as well. Cool, okay, so that's your squat. Now let's go through a couple sort of pitfalls to watch out for and how to kind of set it up. So I always like to work from the feet upwards when I'm setting my position. I kind of think of my feet and my knees and my hips as being anchored in before I move. So in terms of the width and the direction that your feet are pointing, this is kind of up to you. It depends what you want to do, it depends what's comfortable for you. So you can have your feet pointing forwards at about hip width apart. You can go a little bit wider and turn them out. Anywhere in between, not too much of an issue. Find what's comfortable for you. One thing we are looking for though is symmetry. So I don't want to have one poking out a bit and the other straight. For me personally, I like to go about shoulder width apart at the heel and just turn out a few degrees. So now I've got my feet symmetrical. They're done, they're all set up. What I want to do from there is stand up quite straight and just soften my knees a little bit. Not bending them too much and just making sure they're not locked. So you can see at the moment, just naturally, in this position, my knee is on the inside of my toe. I want to use these muscles here to force them out, so they're tracking over the middle toe or the second toe. Once I've done that, that's anchored, that's grounded. I'm going to keep it there and I'm not going to have to worry or think about it as I do my squat. So let's have a look from a side view. So we've got our feet symmetrical in whatever position's comfortable for us. We've forced our knees out, grounded that all in, that's set and done. So from there, the first thing I'm going to think about is where my head is and where am I looking. So I want to be looking straight forwards at something about eye level, and as I squat down, I want to continue to look at that. The reason for this is our body tends to follow our head, right? You know when you're turning a bike, if you try and look forwards and turn a bike, it's very hard. But if you look in the direction you're going, your body will naturally go there. So it's the same when we're talking about bending. If I'm looking down at the floor and I try to squat, my body's going to fold. If I'm looking up, my body's going to stay open, okay? So, head looking up, and then from there, first thing is going to be my hips. Okay, I'm going to stick my butt out a little bit, imagining that my pelvis is like a bowl of water and I'm tipping the water out. Okay, see a little bit of an arch come here, but my chest is still nice and high. I can have hands out as a counterbalance, and all I'm going to do from there is sit back so that the weight's in my heel as I bend my knees. And I'm trying not to change the line of my spine, so I'm not rounding at all, but I'm also not leaning forwards, okay? I'm not changing much at the hips. Okay, so butt goes out, chest stays high, weights in the heels, and I'm bending my knees, continuing to keep that chest nice and high. Okay, so that's pretty much your squat. Now, a few pitfalls to watch out for. So we spoke about feet and knee position, finding what's comfortable for you. Perfect. Just do be aware that once you've forced your knees outwards and anchored that in, that when you go down, you're going to hit a point where you're about to stand back up. Now that's usually where the knees will bow in a bit. Just that little in, out, like so as you're pushing up. So you want to be making a special effort to force your knees out as you go through the transition period of going down to up, if that makes sense. So the next pitfall we're going to look at is the bend ratio between your knee and your hip. So a squat is a knee dominant bend. So we want to be bending a lot more at the knees than we are at the hips. So just have a look at this position here. So I should have pretty much parallel lines from lower leg to spine, okay? Some of you are going to find that if you were to have a look at your side profile doing it, you're going to be looking a little bit more like this, okay? Got too much of a bend at the hips. There could be quite a few reasons for this, and a few things you can do to make it a little bit more comfortable are going to be putting something under your heels, something quite thin, just like a rolled up mat or a book under each heel, and you should find it a little bit easier to keep your torso upright. Another thing you can do is what I call a dunce squat. So you can go right next to a wall or a mirror, get it about this far away from your nose, and try and go down without hitting your head on the wall. Okay? The reason we've got the wall there is to, again, to force that chest to stay high, and the only way that chest is going to stay high and you're not going to hit your head is by bending your knees. So the last thing we're going to talk about is how low you should be going. So we want to be using the entire range of motion available to us, and it's all going to depend on your flexibility, a little bit on your strength and the position you choose in terms of foot setup, but we want to be using the entire range, okay? If you're only squatting down halfway, you're getting very, very strong on the top range of motion, but not the bottom, okay? And that's really, really important, because what a squat actually is it's sitting down and standing up. And you can do that in a lot of different ways in life. It's very, very similar to picking something up off the floor as well. A lot of times we pick things up like this. And if you're only strong up to here, what happens if you have to pick something up heavy from here to here? Your muscles just aren't going to respond, you're going to round your back, body's not going to know how to do it efficiently. You know, what if you're trying to sit in a chair that's a little bit low for you? Body's not going to be able to do it. You're going to have to roll to the side and get up like this, aren't you? Also, when we go through different ranges of the squat, we begin to activate different groups of muscle to lesser and more degrees. And to activate everything properly, we want to be going as low as we can. That being said, we do want to be using the full range of motion, but we want to figure out where our range of motion is, because I can go really, really low with bad posture, but I shouldn't be going that low. I want to be going as low as I can, using all the range that I can with good posture. So if we just turn to the side for a second, you can see I'm in a really, really deep squat here. My feet and my knees and stuff are all fine, they're in the right position, but I don't have the flexibility and the strength to keep an extended spine in that position. So I shouldn't really be going any lower than here. Right about here would be my range of motion. Any lower, and you'll see the spine fold at the bottom and the top, okay? So figure out how far you can go down before the folding begins, and that's going to be the range of motion you should be using. And you should always be trying to work a little bit more into that range, trying to go a little bit lower as your flexibility and strength develops and you get more comfortable with the squat pattern. Now, what helps to go a little bit low in terms of keeping the spine extended is going to be your breathing. So as a general rule, when we inhale, we open, okay? It excites the muscles responsible for extending us, externally rotating us, all throughout the body. And it's the opposite when we breathe out. It flexes us, it internally rotates us. So the hardest portion to keep extended on a squat is as you're going down. So we should be breathing in as we're going down, and then we can breathe out on the way up. If that makes sense, I'll just show you a couple of repetitions. So I'm going to set myself, inhale as I go down to help me keep the chest up, and then I can breathe out at the top. Okay, so that's your squat, guys. Next we're going to be looking at a press up, so please tune in for that video. I hope you all stay safe, well, and try not to kill each other at home. Okay, have a good one.